think that Barbie dies at the end of the Barbie movie?
I don't know if she does, but I hope she does.
I do too. I feel like it really adds to the drama if we, because like I feel like everyone's dismembered a Barbie at some point in their lives, and I feel like if it ends with what's her face getting dismembered, was it Margot Robbie?
Whoever, I don't even know who Margot Robbie is. I am the worst gay. I don't know who anyone is, but as a child, I know that I beheaded multiple Little Mermaid dolls.
Oh my God. So do you not know who Margot Robbie is because you're a bad gay or because you're old?
Both.
Okay,
I'm
great.
a bad old gay.
Welcome to a podcast for bad old gays like Ada. Welcome to Vox Talks, our brand new podcast where we talk about things because we're good at it and we like to do it. My name is
And we're
Zelda
also
Vox.
Voxes.
Yes, my name is
So,
Zelda Vox, and we're here with. Uh, my name is Zelda Vox.
but is your name Zelda Vox?
But is it? I'm starting.
But is it Zelda Vox?
It
and
wasn't until
I'm
recently.
and I am Ada Vox, and we're here to do some Vox talking.
Yeah. So this is our very first episode, so I feel like we should start off with talking about why the hell we're doing this.
Yes.
So for me personally, I am a victim of ADHD and I love to talk all the time. And so I said, what if I could talk at people and make them watch it? And so I came to you and I said, Ada, I want to talk at people and make them watch it. Will you do it with me? And you said, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I also love to talk at people in an environment where they can't actively tell me to shut up. So
Yes.
that's always a plus. So I'm really glad to be a part of it.
Oh yeah. And so I believe this is something you've wanted to do for a while, right?
Yeah, I had been wanting to get a podcast up and going actually with the name Vox Talks was one of the ones that I had already been tossing around. So the fact that you came forward and were like, hey, I have this idea. And I kind of implemented myself in the plan. Just because it was something that I had been wanting to do already anyway.
Well, because I honestly I didn't think you would like want to commit to doing it every week, and so I was like, okay, let me see if she wants to do it. Like, be my first guest and like hopefully come back a few times. Then you were like, can I just be the co-host? I was like, yeah, yeah, that was ideal.
And I
And
didn't
so
I
here
didn't
we
want to
are.
commit to children either, but here we are.
Well, speaking of which, so a lot of people ask how we met, and I don't know your side of the story because I always tell it from my side of the story, but from my perspective, it was you were tweeting about wanting a Galarian Corsola, and I slid into your DMs and said I have one, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah, it's one, I know that I am partially responsible for your existence,
Unfortunately,
for Zelda being born. And I can't tell you how many baby queens I've had, like right after I was on Idol, like, you're the first queen I've ever seen. Oh my gosh, I started doing drag because of you, and this and this and this and this. And I am so sorry to the world for that.
you
So
unleashed us, the generation of Ada Vox babies, onto the world.
uh, yes, and but you, for some reason, maybe it was the Galarian Corsola bonding or something. But I like you, so why the hell not? And your mother's deadbeat, so you needed someone to take over.
Well, so to fill in those who don't know a lot about me, I have another drag mother, Ivana, who was seen on season 2 of Camp Wanakiki for about 5 minutes before she was rightfully eliminated.
She
Uh,
lasted 5 minutes.
no, she was there for like 3 episodes, but they just told her she was too pretty and then kicked her off. Oh no, you
And that's
froze.
longer than I thought she would have gone.
You're frozen.
Oh, hello, hello, I'm still here.
Hi.
No.
Oh, you were upside down for a hot minute. That was weird.
Can you see me?
Yes.
I have returned.
Okay. So yeah. So Ivana was on Camp Wanakiki. And she is my like, OG drag mother. She adopted me, pre-COVID. Actually, right around the time I think that you and I started chatting on Twitter. I think was around the time that Ivana
Mm.
adopted me. And then I think the way that you became my mother instead of just my friend was I think I was tweeting about how you were responsible for, me starting drag because you were in fact the first drag queen I ever saw on television. And you replied, you were like, okay, well that makes you my partial daughter. You at first it was quarter daughter for a while.
Yes, correct.
Because Ivana was and still is more than happy to share custody. And so she was like, okay. I was like, and even when like I used to go by a different name, she who shall not be named. But when I changed my name, Ivana doesn't have a last name, and so I was like, well, what the fuck do I make my last name? And so I messaged you, and I was like, I know I'm only your quarter daughter, but can I steal the name? And then you were like, yeah, I actually like you, and I was like, she actually likes me. And then I told Ivana, and she was like, okay.
Yes, like I told you she doesn't care. She doesn't love you. She
We're gonna have her on the pod just so you two can fist fight in the parking lot.
and we will. And we
Yeah.
will. I'm gonna take her on to that what is Maury? Is that
Oh
still a
my
thing?
god. Do
And
the
she can
maternity
cash me
test.
outside. She can cash me outside.
Well, I'm very lucky and blessed to have two amazing drag mothers, and we will get Ivana on the pod at some point to do the full DNA results.
Oh God.
It'll be fine, promise. Speaking of having you be my drag inspiration, what inspired you to start doing drag?
Lord, I for me, I literally just wanted to find a new way that I could advance and branch my music career.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had been told forever that after having worked already for so many years as a singer, that I needed a brand. I needed, something to be more than just a good singer. So that's where I discovered after my first time on American Idol back in season 12, which is literally 10 years ago.
Mm.
I was invited to my very first like gay event in my
Mm.
hometown. And that's the first time I ever discovered pride and drag queens and all of that other stuff. And when I saw them, I said, hey, this looks like something that I could do, but different than all of them are doing it, because all of them were lip syncing.
Right.
They were lip syncing and high kicking and splitting, good old Texas drag type stuff. And I said, hey, I wonder if I can do this and make something else of it that would help separate me in the industry. So that's when the idea of Ada came around. And then when I turned 21, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and go for it and see what happens. So I put on some makeup, started performing as Ada. And I guess I've really made leaps and bounds in my music career from where I was since then.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's funny because like I kind of started doing drag for pretty much the same reason, and you are the reason that like I got to that point, was because I was in high school, I was taking vocal lessons, and I really wanted to like go to school for vocal performance. And my vocal teacher and my parents and everyone was telling me, random faggots who sing are a dime a dozen, like you're never gonna break into the music world just being you. Which first of all, ouch. Second of all,
Yeah.
yeah. And so when I saw you on American Idol back in 2018, I was like, that's an option. Like that is something that I could do, to like dress up and it was right around the time that all of my friends and my family were like harassing me to watch Drag Race. And so once I saw you, I was like, okay, maybe this is like a thing that's worth looking into. And so I watched Drag Race and I was like, okay, I'm doing it.
How old were you then?
I was 17.
17. Okay, so you were still baby.
Oh
You
yeah.
probably you hadn't been to a club or anything.
Oh no. My first drag show wasn't until it was August 2019 was my first drag show.
Okay, mine was oh gosh, when was mine? March, April, May, June. June 1st of 2015 was my first. Yeah.
Yeah. Back when I was still spending my weekends playing Pokemon.
And I still do that.
Yeah.
Don't you still do that?
I was doing it in rooms full of other nerds fighting them for small amounts of money. So
honey, you're lucky you did that. I was playing back when we were I was doing competitive back when they were for Toys R Us gift cards.
oh god. Rest in peace, Toys R Us.
Have you ever seen a Toys R Us? Is that anything?
Yes, that is surprisingly in my timeline. That they went extinct. I think I was in high school when they went extinct.
Oh, okay. See, I never remember. I have no sense of time.
Oh, neither do I.
For all I know, like it disappeared when I was 10 years old in my mind. I have no idea.
It's the ADHD. We have absolutely no sense of time. Not even a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely nothing.
So speaking of going to your first drag show, so you fairly recently moved to Vegas, correct?
A year and some odd months ago. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I would love to hear, because like I mean we've talked about this a little bit, but I'd love to hear the difference between like the Texas drag scene versus the Vegas drag scene. What's been the change like?
So it's I can't say that it's a huge change, especially because it seems like half of Texas moved up here before, right after we did. But the drag scene in Texas is big. It's pageant. It's beads and feathers and high kicks and splits. Here in Vegas, people think like back pieces and feathers and showgirl and all of that, but that's not what the drag scene is here. It's
Uh-huh.
odd. I was expecting it to be this obviously is not a comment towards the entire drag community, but I thought there would be more big, huge, polished
Right.
showgirl style drag. But it's really in not a bad way. It's nightclub drag,
Yeah.
you know. And I just thought there was going to be a little bit more extravagance to it. Of course there are people that pull that out, like sometimes when we do like the brunch shows where it's like very touristy and people come to see us TV girls, like when I would do brunches with Coco Montrese and Alexis Mateo and the revolving cast of Drag Race girls and myself
Right.
and stuff. Sometimes we'd pull out our nice things to give them Vegas.
Yeah.
You know, give them a little extra taste. But aside from that, I can't say that it's not bigger than Texas was. It's not any I think it's on par with Texas drag in a lot of ways, but nothing caught me off guard, and I'm not insecure about what I do here.
Yeah. I feel like there's probably more singing drag in Vegas than Texas.
Can you name three?
No.
Neither can I.
Oops.
I
Well,
can name myself, my friend John Busy Monroe, who just started doing drag per my nudging. And in terms of singing queens, uh, is there anybody else that I can think of? And there's nobody else that I can think of that is a true like singing vocalist. There's queens who sing at bars, you know,
right.
a dime a dozen anywhere, but queens that are vocalists are an entirely separate category.
Right.
And I don't actually, I'm not in the scene because I don't go
Hmm.
out. I don't like doing all that stuff.
See, I'm the same way where like, you know, especially like, you know, I'm in Jersey now and it's very, very heavy on the you have to go out 3, 4 times a week if you want the people to book you because you have to like stay visible or they're just not gonna, you know, think of you when they're putting together the lineups. And so like I just don't get booked because I A can't afford to and B just don't want to drive an hour, you know, in the middle of the night to go to a bar just to watch a show, hand them my money and say, please book me, please.
Well, it's a little crazy how they expect you to be able to afford to go work for $40.
Well, and that's the thing is like it's like that in Philly too. And I mean, New York City's more like competition based, but also that's like way more expensive for me to get to. But because like I'm in the middle of nowhere, New Jersey, which people will disagree with, but I'm in the middle of nowhere in terms of drag because it's an hour for me from like every single show. And so it's like, you know, everywhere's like, you got to come out to the shows if you want to get booked, which is like fine for the people who like live in Philly or like in Asbury Park. But like, I can't drive an hour, like even just like in terms like to pay for gas and tickets to the show and food and tips. Like it's, you know, I need the money from being booked in order to afford to be able to do that. And so it's kind of just like the endless cycle of sitting on my hands and waiting for something to happen.
You've been part of multiple drag scenes as well, though, have you not?
Yeah, so I was in Connecticut before COVID because I grew up in Jersey, went to Connecticut for college, dropped out of college when COVID started. But when I was in Connecticut for college, I started doing drag there. And I don't know if it was because I was closer to things or it was just because it's such like it's a much tighter community in Connecticut. Like everyone is very close. Like, you know, all the queens hang out at, you know, outside of shows. It's very some people say it's clicky, but I feel like those people just aren't in the cliques. And so I found I felt very at home in Connecticut. And so coming to Jersey where it's a lot more competitive and a lot less chill almost, like it feels very like, you know, like the clubs feel more like aggressive. Like in Connecticut you go to the club and it's not really like a nightclub where everyone's like dancing and it's loud music. It feels a lot more relaxed, which is very much more my vibe. And so I didn't mind going out to shows all the time there because it felt very like a more chill environment. And so coming to Jersey, like I tried to, you know, get myself out there and it's kind of just like it feels like you get something and then you're there for a, you know, a few shows and then they move on to somebody else. Then it's all right. Well, now I have to start going out again, but I don't want to go out again.
So I know you said just now that it was easier to go out to shows in Connecticut. Were you performing regularly while you were there as well, or just kind of
Oh
seeing what was
yeah.
going on?
Well, so the other difference between Connecticut and Jersey is like Connecticut has multiple open stages that, and the difference between Connecticut and over here is here in Jersey and Philly, they have a couple open stages, but no show hosts actually go to the open stages. So you're performing at these open stages for nobody who's going to book you. Whereas in Connecticut, they have open stages at like the big bars, like weekly, where there are always multiple show hosts in the audience and they are looking for people to book. Like there are consistently new performers getting bookings because they stand out at open stages. And so, like, I, as somebody who showed up and stood out at open stages, was getting bookings in Connecticut because people saw that, like, I am, entertaining and talented. And they were like, oh, I want you in my show. Like, I got booked by Robin Fierce for my first paid booking because she saw me at open stage and was like, I want to book you. I had Giganta Smalls gave me one of my first bookings because I asked. And she was like, oh, yeah, I've seen you perform at the open stage and I like you. It was that kind of thing where, like, here in New Jersey, like, I did this open stage 3 times in a row and it was, all these people saying, oh my God, I would love to see you like booked at a show at this bar, but like nobody who books the shows was there. So it's like, who am I performing for?
Exactly. And it's like you're actually just showing up to do the open stage with no benefit.
Exactly. And it's like, it's a competition, so sometimes I win. But even then it's like it's $100, which is nice, but like I'd rather get booked for a gig that pays $100.
Yeah, a gig with guaranteed pay is always a wonderful
Exactly.
thing. And you said Connecticut is really strong as a community. Is that why all the community went on Drag Race together?
Honestly, probably. Well, because like I think it was also like they just kind of all happened to stand out at the same time because like Amethyst was blowing up on TikTok, Robin had started traveling a lot more, and Lucy has just been, auditioning year after year, and she's just so talented. Like there was no, we all knew that Lucy, if anyone was going to get on, it was going to be Lucy eventually, and of course she did, and she did great. I think it was just a good opportunity for them to like show off a new drag scene, and I kind of wish they like mentioned that more. Like it was just a few times we're like, oh my God, there's 4 Connecticut girls, even though Jax isn't really a Connecticut girl, but they don't tell you that. She was born in Connecticut. She doesn't do shows in Connecticut.
She was there.
But
She was there at some
yeah,
point.
but Jax is also lovely, so I'm not gonna. I can't bring myself to actually talk shit about her.
Who
But
can
yeah.
you talk shit about? I'd love to hear.
Oh, I have plenty of people I can talk shit about, but we'll wait until we can get them as guests on the show so I can do it to their face.
Period. As we do.
Exactly. So, do you have like more like open stage competition stuff in Vegas? Is that like? I feel like they must have more stuff like that there. I'm sure you're not doing it,
So
but
I'm definitely not. But I have hosted a couple.
mhm.
There's Free Zone, which just unfortunately, lost its gay manager.
Oh,
He was fired, and
mhm.
it's really unfortunate. They're already, I think, feeling the consequences of losing the only gay employee that they had in charge at this gay establishment that's
Yeah,
now run by a straight white man.
yeah,
Up at the top without any type of LGBT voice and leadership.
yeah.
Um, and I think they've already canceled multiple shows because nobody was signing up to compete for the open stages.
Oof.
So, and that's just kind of what happens. There are other competitions like Drag Wars, which is,
Mhm.
I think we see these kind of all over the country,
Oh
which are like
yeah.
the weekly drag competitions.
Well, and is that like the
Um,
Drag Race style one?
Kinda, yeah. They have weekly challenges and weekly
Mhm.
eliminations, little
Yeah.
things like that. My husband is actually the host of one of them.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen you guest judge that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen you post about that one. Yeah, because like they used to have like a Drag Wars in Philly, which stopped for reasons that I don't know because it was before my time. But they do a really good drag race style competition in Philly called Snatcherella,
Mhm.
which I've gone out to a couple times and loved it. But like, it's one of those things where like I feel like I wouldn't get cast if I applied to it because again I don't go out to the show, so they don't know me. And so it's like they have that one opportunity, but it's like how do you get it unless you're consistently going out to the shows. But like the only other open stages, like there's one open stage in Philly. There's the one in Asbury Park, which is like, I mean, no shade, but it's usually all baby queens and me when I go. Like it's very clear that like everyone else who's, been doing drag for a while and like is polished and a good performer, like they're already booked. They don't need to do the open stage.
Yeah.
But that's because they all, go out to shows regularly and they don't have to like fist
Isn't it
fight
kind of
for the
weird
seat.
how you're expected to go out of your way to be known before anyone even, takes a second look at you. I kind of hate that about this
Yeah.
because when I first started in back in Texas, we had an open stage every like a talent night every Tuesday at the Pegasus nightclub, which is this
Hmm.
huge, legendary old nightclub. And I never won because it was based on audience response.
Right.
I very rarely gosh, I got maybe one or two gigs
Hmm.
in the 3 years that I was doing it.
Yeah.
And they paid $40 for me to get in full mug and go sing for two numbers in the show. But everything else was doing for free just to try to be seen,
Exactly.
because that's just how it works in this business for some reason. When I think it would be an incentive to actually go out, and someone like you, like if you were to apply to a drag competition, they'd never seen you before, but they see that you can offer quality drag,
Right.
why not cast that person regardless of whether you've seen them before or not? You
Exactly.
know?
Well, and it's I feel like that's probably, what led you, I'm assuming, to do, all these, televised competitions, because that's a way to like actually be seen and actually get work.
Hmm. Honey, $40 gigs were not going to work when they
Oh yeah.
that just wasn't going to work. I was still singing full time as well as holding a full time regular 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Um, and then doing gigs 5 to 6 nights a week, usually sometimes 7 nights a week for a month or two at a time, when I was really, really hustling with the drag gigs at night.
Right.
So I was busy as hell. I was tired as hell. And mama was hustling and tired of that because I felt like I paid my dues because I had already been singing professionally for
Right.
10 years when I created Ada, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Well, so and speaking of the television of it all, everyone keeps asking us, when are we doing Drag Race?
Well, when are you?
Well, okay. So for the last 2 years, I said I was going to send in a tape, and then both times it just didn't happen in time. And so this year, I'm thinking about it. I mean, it's also like, I've recently, kind of gone viral on Instagram, literally for reasons why I'm America's Next Drag Superstar. Like, it feels like I'm an easy cast. Like, I went from, just kind of posting my silly little things online to now having like, tens of people in my DM saying like, "Oh my God, I want to see you on Drag Race. You're amazing. You're my new favorite drag queen." And I'm like, so this is what it's like. I could get used to this. But then, of course, it's on Instagram, which is the one platform that you can't really monetize. And so I'm like, getting 5+ thousand views, sometimes tens of thousands of views on all of my videos and getting nothing,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is like frustrating.
The good thing about Drag Race, though, is new seasons are coming.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
can kind of work continuously to build a tape. You
Yeah.
don't have to like wait for them to announce it and then you have
Oh,
to rush to
exactly.
do it. Because nowadays they know they're going to get so many applicants right away. I think what they only have casting open for like a month or
It's a month
something
and a
like
half
that. Like a month.
usually.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
last year it was 2 months. It was just over 2 months because they
but they
announced it
open it.
Halloween.
Yeah. And then they open it and then it's closed.
Yeah.
And these girls are preparing for like a whole year plus in advance,
Oh,
curating
yeah.
these tapes to submit, so that as soon as they announce that it's open, submission in, producers hopefully get to see it.
Oh yeah, well, and I mean, I've edited tapes for people the last few years, and so seeing that since season like what 13, so like 4 seasons now, it's been pretty much the same tape year after year. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, so I guess I can start kind of like preparing that and getting that together. So like working on it, but it's also you know it's a big undertaking, and it's also one of those things where it's like there's no guarantee that anything will happen with it. Like unless you're you, who they're like desperately trying to get on the show.
you know, there are girls that I've known who have been asked by Drag Race before, and
Mhm.
they've been like, "Hey, please audition, please submit. We'd love to have you on the show," and then they get ghosted.
Yeah.
And that just kind of, I've seen that happen even with girls that they wanted previously.
Yeah.
For me, people have been asking since the dawn of time with Ada.
Yeah.
So, and my answer was always like, no, I don't want to do it because it doesn't fit what I do as an artist.
Right.
It's all dressing up real, doing these
It's the
cohesive
fashion, the lip
looks, and
syncs, and
it's fashion, it's lip sync, and those just aren't things that I'm into. I put on a nice stretchy sequin gown and sing pretty
right.
songs. And but the thing is, my mind as of late has changed in the way that I realized that I was afraid to do it, or I was, putting off potentially taking part because I was afraid people would lose the identity that I had established for myself and what I
Mhm.
wanted to be artistically.
Right.
But now I am probably, I am so set in knowing that people already kind of know who I am and what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
doing, and what it is that I artistically like to present. Um, that even if I did drag race for fun and
Yeah.
was able to put together these fashion looks and had to lip sync a time or two, whatever it may be, they would know what really is me,
Right.
regardless of all of that. So I do think that would it has opened my mind to the possibility of who knows what the future holds.
Well, I
So
mean, you see people who have done Drag Race, people like Bianca or Jinx, who like they're not, fashiony lip sync people, but like they did Drag Race, they won Drag Race, and then go right back to, Jinx went right back. She did Broadway. She's doing like she sings at her shows. Bianca still does just her comedy shows in her same gown,
yeah.
and so it's like,
Yeah.
and the fans still love them. Like, there's no, I don't think Drag Race comes with the expectation that you're going to do the Drag Race brand of drag after the show. And I think that the
Yeah.
fans are like open to that, especially now. And so I feel like you definitely, I am a big fan of, like, I think everybody should try to do Drag Race because it's just like,
Just try to do it.
just
Just
try to do
try.
it. I mean, either they cast you or they don't. Like,
I
why
think
not?
you would actually be really good on Drag Race though, because one, you love to switch things up. You love to create a look.
Oh
And
yeah.
you can make your own garments, you sing, you're a comedian, um, you're yeah, you
Yeah.
wear
I mean,
makeup.
I listen, I in my like, I don't want to sound like the egotistical, narcissistic character, but like I do think I would be really good at Drag Race. I started drag literally, like, I watched Drag Race and I was like, I could do that better. And so I decided to do that better. And now I think I do that better. And so I'm like, maybe I should go on Drag Race and prove to them that I do in fact do it better.
And people don't understand that being good at drag and being good at Drag Race are not mutually exclusive.
Exactly.
There
Yeah.
are so many artists like that are incredible at drag but not good at Drag Race, such
Right.
as one who just came out herself and said it is Naysha Lopez.
Yeah.
She's a great drag entertainer, a national, pageant title
Right.
holder. She's great at drag, but Drag Race is a whole different game.
Exactly. Because it's not just a drag competition, it's a reality TV competition. And so
Hmm.
it tests so many different skills that not everybody has and not everybody needs to have. Like, you don't need to be an actress and a comedian and a seamstress and a dancer and a singer. Like, you don't need to be all of these things to be a good drag queen. You just don't.
Hmm.
But I just so happen to actually be good at most of those things. And so I'm just, I'm I'll throw it in and see what happens.
And you will, and you'll have mama's support too.
Thank you. And I'm hoping that whoever's watching this, I'll also have your support. You can support me by following me on all of my things and giving me money.
Oh, money is great. Oh, we love
Oh
money in
yeah.
this family.
Oh yes, we do. Oh yes, the fuck we do. Well, and it's also like, drag queens just notoriously do not get paid enough ever at all.
Yeah,
Especially
especially
like,
up and coming girls that haven't been on TV that are still
right,
like we talked about earlier, driving an hour to do a $40 gig just or trying to win an open stage,
right.
that's in a whole nother city just because you have to be seen to get booked.
Exactly. Well, and it's like, I would love to be able to, like, if dude, if they were paying me like even just like a couple $100 to show up and do a gig, like, I would pull out my best outfits, my best numbers, give them the show. But like, what's my incentive to do a tip spot that's an hour away where, I'm making maybe like $50 for the night doing two numbers? Like, I'm not going to want to pull out the fully choreographed iconic, mix. One of my favorite tip spot numbers is like, I come in my Wednesday Addams look and I do So Emotional, but I just stand there staring at the audience the whole time, deadpan. and it kills every time. But it's one of those, like, it's
Oh,
low effort. It's also like you get what you pay for. I don't know. I feel like I've been doing drag a long time. Like I'm coming up on 5 years now, and it's like, most people when they're coming up on 5 years of drag, should in theory, like, be, having their own shows and
have
being
a
booked
home bar.
regularly, have a home bar, which, like,
Hmm.
I kind of do have a home bar. Like the Shea Est in Connecticut is really what I, would call my home bar, but like I don't live there anymore. So it's like, what do I do?
How far is Connecticut from where you are?
It's like 3 hours, but
I'm
you
bad
know,
at geography.
it's like a 3 4 hour drive, which like isn't the worst. Like I go up there to visit sometimes, but it's also like it costs money to go up there, and like
Yeah.
I can't afford to go up, especially if I'm not booked. Like I'm going up there next month because I'm booked in Giganta's theater show, which I'm very excited because I'll actually get to sing live in a place that's meant to be sung live in. But like that's my only booking for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it's odd. A few months ago, I received an inquiry for our booking back in Texas,
Hmm.
and I asked them, what all was included. They didn't want to go through my agent because they didn't have much of a budget or anything. I didn't know what this budget was, so I
Yeah.
was just like, well, they must have something if they're reaching out to me to have me go back to Texas, and
Right.
potentially do a gig. And I said, okay, great. Is travel included? What's the booking fee? What's maybe we can work something out. And I was met with a response that said, they do not pay for travel, they do not pay for lodging, and the booking fee is $100.
Sounds like Camp Wanakiki.
They wanted me to go from Vegas to Texas, pay for my own travel and my own lodging to perform for $100. And honey, I don't know. I personally don't know anyone that would do that.
No.
Um, that's literally
Oh, not a
having to
soul.
take a flight or a 20-hour drive, to get
Yeah.
there. It makes no sense to me.
I would pay $100 to not have to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Would you like me to donate to your budget for a local queen? Because
literally, like it's ridiculous. I'll just get on TV so that you and I can be TV girls and do TV girl shows with TV girl money and call it a
thank
day.
you. Yeah, it'll be great. And I'll give you my TV girl money to make me costumes.
Exactly. I will happily be your little sewing gremlin.
I need one.
I need to be my own sewing gremlin. I have to start working on these drag duel runways because that's coming up.
Are you going to
And
be making runways for Drag Duel based on the themes?
yes, I am. I want to do what RuPaul couldn't and match the theme every week on the runway. Also, because like it's good to have all those looks filmed nicely for certain projects that one
For
might want to
certain
do,
things. Yeah,
for
first
certain
you never
things that one might
know.
want to do around November, December, perhaps.
Speaking on the topic of drag and how much it costs and competitions and all of that, can we talk a little bit about Drag Duel?
I would love to talk about Drag Duel. I love talking about Drag Duel. um I think it's properly time that we announce that Ada Vox will be the first guest judge of Drag Duel, which is very exciting.
It is very
um
exciting for you.
oh yeah, well, and like it's just very exciting in general. I mean, you know, online drag competitions have kind of died since,
Yeah.
COVID restrictions have been lifted and everyone's back to doing things in person and nobody wants to, do online competitions for no money. But, Derek mentioned that he wanted to do it, and you actually hooked me up with Derek because you saw that he tweeted about about wanting to do a competition. And you tagged me, and I went into his DMs. I'm like, if you're gonna do this, you need me. And I showed him all my stuff from when I hosted Fierce and Fun back in the day, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sold." And so we put it together, and like with his money and my skills and Bootsy being there, we're slaying it. It's being slain. And the cast, oh, we got the cast. It's so good. Oh,
So Drag Duel, what is it? If you had to explain it to somebody, what is it other than just an online drag competition?
I mean, it's Drag Race done right, is really what it is.
Oh,
Like, no
oh,
shade to Drag Race, but like, I mean, Derek's whole brand is like, what if Drag Race wasn't rigged? And like going
yeah.
through all of that stuff. And so his logic was, I want to put my money where my mouth is and do a competition that really isn't rigged. And so, we have these drag race style challenges, and it's a drag race format. The other cool thing about it is that it's online and everyone's submitting their stuff from where they are. And so we are able to have a cast of, worldwide applicants. We have, contestants from Germany, from Serbia, from Canada, from South Korea. like we've got people from everywhere, and so to be able to like have everybody compete in the same competition without having to fly anybody anywhere is great and like very cool. And also like for people to be able to show off their drag who maybe wouldn't have a budget to get on Drag Race or don't have Drag Race in their country.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's a great opportunity, I think, for a lot of people, especially like, we have multiple drag kings on the show, like people that Drag Race, wouldn't cast because they're silly.
Yeah.
And so, we're trying to provide a platform, and also just like, there's nothing wrong with having more drag being shown on a big platform.
No, more drag is a good thing, especially like you said, Drag Race is not for every type of performer. That's just
Exactly.
how that goes. That's why it was May the Best Woman win, because it was very much
Right.
female impersonation, female illusion, that type of thing, until it was switched up. Now it's May the Best Drag Queen win. I don't think it's ever changing from drag queen.
Right.
And I don't think that that show has its own brand. It is what it is. And this is an outlet for the people who wish that they had that type of a platform. This may not be the size of Drag Race right now, but
Right.
you never know what anything can turn into. And
Exactly.
just the caliber of contestants that I think you've had submitting their applications
You saw a preview of that list. It's real good.
I did. I saw some of the contestants that were applying, and I was blown away by the fact that there are people who are giving true quality drag and willing to put themselves up for this online competition. And I bet you a handful of them have auditioned for shows like Drag Race and been rejected.
Oh,
Mhm.
like it's the caliber is very high, and it's like I think that the entire cast of Drag Duel, they are of the quality that would be accepted by Drag Race. And so it's like being able to have a Drag Race style competition with Drag Race caliber drag in a different setting that I think tests different skills, I think is really cool. And even like, as you said, like you never know what it could be. Like, Dragula started out as a silly little YouTube show back in the day, and now it's, a real TV show with actual, an actual budget. I think they're filming it right now, which is
Yeah, and people are so thirsty for drag still, even though it's so
exactly
saturated. The market is so saturated. People are still thirsty for it. So these networks are on a lookout for the next big drag thing. You
right.
never know if this could be it.
Yeah. And listen, we hope it is. And we hope that all of you watching right now go subscribe to Drag Duel on YouTube. The link will be in the description of this video. And it's going to be really exciting. And I'm really excited that you're going to be a part of it. Because I know that you are a big fan of drag and a big fan of drag competitions. And
Yes.
somebody who, obviously gives very good advice. I mean, you've given me all sorts of helpful advice over the years of us knowing each other. And so, I'm excited for you to impart the children with your wisdom for this first
I'm
challenge.
very, very excited. And I'm very excited for you to be a big face of this competition as well. And for those of you that don't know, that we said Derek, but he has a very popular YouTube channel called The Drag Detective. So those of you may know him by that. I love his channel. I love his content. I love him. And he's great, and I think it's going to be a really wonderful thing for everyone to tune into. Like Zelda said, there's going to be the link in the description, which is currently below the videos. I remember back in YouTube days when it was on the side of the videos at the very beginning. You probably weren't even born yet.
I definitely was born, but I wasn't allowed to use the internet at that time. So yeah, but I'm excited to be more present on the YouTubes where people can see my silly little face, and I'm excited to do more of this with you also. Like this podcast is very fun and exciting.
Oh, we're going to be doing a lot of Vox talking.
Oh yes,
and it's going to be absolutely wonderful. Make sure, if y'all, this isn't the sign off yet, but I just want to remind you all that if you do have questions or anything, don't hesitate to ask. Slide into our In-Voxes.
Yeah, our like that In-Voxes. Leave your questions in the comments. Let us know what you want to see us talk about. Do you want us to have guests? Maybe what guests do you want to see us have? Perhaps we are very excited to hear what you all think. Would you like to move on to our final segment before we start wrapping things up?
Sure. Remind me what it is. Mother's Memories Going.
Well, it was your idea. It's the Song Association.
Oh yes. Who's doing what? What are we gonna do here?
I feel like we should go back and forth, and I'll give you a word, and then you give me a word, and we'll go back
Okay.
and forth.
First episode. We're figuring things out, y'all.
Oh yeah. Listen, this is a trial run, and it's going to be a shit show, and you're going to love it because it's going to be our shit show.
It's our shit show, and we love our shit show. It's our baby shit show.
Exactly. Okay.
So let me. I want to start giving you a word.
Okay, go for it.
You start this. Okay. I guess I should have thought of a word first. Let's do the word could. COULD. Could.
Could have had it all, rolling in the deep. You had my heart inside your hand, and you played it to the beat.
Okay, that was a good one. That was not one that was on the top of my head. Good job on that one.
Listen, my brain works in mysterious ways. All right, I have a word prepared for you because I want to see where you go with this one.
Lord.
The word is love.
Oh, honey, that's in every single song I sing. I'm gonna blow the microphone out. And yeah. Yeah. Could you
You
even
absolutely blew out the microphone. Could not hear a single bit of that.
love you?
There it is. See, now you have to give me the word love because I wanna show you what I thought you were gonna go for.
Okay, my word for you, Zelda Vox, is love.
Let my love shine, let my love shine, let my love shine.
Yes, that's a good song that I forgot about, and it's mine.
It is yours. I listen to it frequently. It's a great song.
It's a lot of fun. Thank you to my friend who gave me that song there, Daniel. Thank you.
All of you should go stream Ada Vox's music on all streaming platforms because it's very good. And
it's there.
Listen, I like your music, and I would not tell you I liked your music if I didn't actually like your music. So you at least know from me that I think it's good.
I'll take that. I'll take it.
Thanks. Okay, so my next word for you is, oh God, I only thought of the one word. Let's go with C. SEE.
Okay, SEE. Oh gosh. I can't sing very. I'm gonna put it down here. Let's see if this helps.
Yeah.
I see red, something you had. I don't know the words, but I see red.
That was the song I was thinking of for that word, actually. I was just listening to that yesterday.
Okay, now I have to give you one more. And this one might be hard. We're going to stick to the same word, different spelling. CSEA.
Oh God. This is hard.
You got it. I have one right at the tip of my head.
Oh. I don't know.
Do you want a hint of what I'm thinking?
Yes.
Under.
Oh, under the sea. Under the sea. I was better. Weather. Take it from me.
Take it from me. Oh, yes.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was a word that I was like, this might be a little difficult. I only had one song in my head for it, and it was just that one.
I was thinking like sea to shining sea, and I was like, I am not singing whatever the fuck that is.
We're not patriotic in these days anymore, baby. The country's interesting, but we'll leave that for another podcast.
That's for next week. I think that's it for us for today.
Yeah, I mean, we covered everything that we wanted to cover, I think, for this very
We
first one.
did.
We let the people know a little about us that might not have known us previously. We sang
Exactly.
them a couple little songs, promoted Drag Duel. Oh my gosh, all the wonderful things that are still coming up.
Exactly.
Oh,
Oh, other things we have to promote. You might be on America's Got Talent this week finally.
well, here's the thing. If they never show me, Lord knows they've been teasing us and giving all the viewers blue balls at this point.
Yeah.
Because they have shown multiple clips of me these last couple of weeks. And all I know is that those couple of clips are all I need to put in my bio that I have been seen on America's Got Talent.
There you go. Listen, there's no if they're going to be showing you that much, they better freaking put you on.
Yeah, and I'm now Ada Vox as seen on American Idol, Queen of the Universe, and America's Got Talent, even if it's just for a few seconds at a time.
Yeah. Listen, it counts. And soon it'll
Oh
be seen on
goodness.
Drag Race because you might do that now.
No, you before me. You go before me. Test the
Well,
waters.
it'll be the Carrie and Sasha Colby of it all, where I go on and then you go on.
Where you go on and you lose, and then I go on and I win.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Very on brand. Okay, so before we go, Ada, do you have anything else that you would like to plug?
I don't follow social media, I guess. If you're in Las Vegas, come out to see the pageant I'm competing in. I don't know when this is coming out, but come to see the pageant I'm competing in August 14th. If this comes out before then in Las
Yeah,
Vegas.
it's coming out in like 2 days. So
Okay, well, yeah, period. Inbox me for details.
I'm going to once again plug Drag Duel. That's at Drag Duel on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I think TikTok is at Drag Duel Official, but everything else is at Drag Duel. Be sure to follow us on socials for updates and make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube for the episodes. Make sure you follow me on all of my socials. I am at Zelda Vox everywhere, except for here on YouTube. I am at Zelda Vox YT because Zelda Vox was taken for some reason, but it's
Oh,
fine. Um, and be sure to turn on notifications here on my YouTube channel so that you get notified every single time we post a brand new episode of Vox Talks with Zelda and Ada Vox.
and potential future guests.
And potential future guests. Let us know who you want to see us have in the comments, because Ada knows a lot of people, and I know a handful of people. So we can totally get some people.
Nobody's off limits. Submit anybody that you
Oh,
think.
yeah.
You never know. You never know who we know or who we might be able to get. Submit questions, submit topic ideas, submit guest suggestions, all of that.
Yes, absolutely. And with that, we will see you all next time. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.